Hello there. My name is Kenneth Epefra and welcome to Bite-Sized Manna. Bite-Sized Manna is a series of short videos ranging between 5 to 10 minutes for your spiritual edification, education, and encouragement. Today I'll be talking or continuing on the topic of the dimensions of love and the mysteries of love. Dimensions of love because there are different dimensions to love or of love. And the mystery of love because the agape love is a mystery to humanity as a whole, because this is a love that only people begin to understand when Jesus Christ came onto the earth and died. The manifestation of it came around that time. Now, focusing today on the love of Eros, which where the word erotic comes from, Eros, or sexual love, is one of the lowest dimensions in my opinion. And some people might disagree, but Eros is a love that God has given to man. Surprisingly, in the book of Genesis, it says when God gave the first commandment, He said, "Be fruitful and multiply," which more what God was implying. Well, make love and bring forth babies. And so the same blessing He gave upon man, the same He gave upon animals. Now we are not animalistic, so we don't lower ourselves to the same way animals go about this. We are created in God's image and God's likeness, so we do it God's way. Now God has given us guidelines, rules for the Eros in itself. In the book of Hebrews 13:4, the writer says, marriage is honorable in all. It says, goes on to say, but the marriage bed, sorry, I beg your pardon. It said, marriage is honorable in all, and the marriage bed is undefiled. And it went to say, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Now, there is obviously a pending judgment for those people who don't abide by God's rules and by God's regulations. More or less, they bring judgment upon themselves. That's where judgment comes in, more or less. And different things, because maybe a venereal disease or some problem, maybe. Because the writer, will find out, said something of sort. He said, if a man commits adultery or fornication, he sins against his own body. Now, you can already tell that anybody who has been involved in too many multiple sexual escapades with different partners can cause a problem on his mind and in his body. And you can see that today. Unfortunately, most prostitutes and people of that nature go through a lot of turbulent mental issues, depression and all these other things, because they're going out of God's way. Now, God knows what He's saying when He puts down laws. The other part I bring about is in 1 Corinthians 7:9. God is speaking to the unmarried people of those days and also to the widows. And what He was more or less trying to tell them that they should try to stay as they are. But He said, if you burn, then marry. That burn, if you have any sexual urge, then marry. Obviously, if you have sexual urges, either as a widower or under the age, or maybe you're still marriage material, or you are maybe an unmarried maiden, so to speak, then obviously the urges might be there, and it's best to marry than to get into sexual immorality. That's what Paul was speaking about. But on the overall, God gave us these guidelines of the erotic love. It's a pleasure, yes or no, especially those who have been married and understand the pleasure of a sexual love, yes. But with every form of liberty or freedom, there is a responsibility. God has given us these liberties, but we must take responsibility in the way we follow these things, and not just follow off in the way the world system goes about their ways and into different escapades with different multiple partners and sexual partners right, left and center. I believe what I've said is a bit of enough for understanding the dimension of Eros. That's the best I can give you today. But please be encouraged by this. If any of you actually have had any issues where any form of condemnation, no, don't feel condemned. God doesn't condemn anybody. God only convicts, and when He convicts us, because whoever God condemns, or if you feel condemned, you run away from God. But when God convicts you, it brings you to Him, and conviction is what God goes about, not condemnation. Devil condemns, not God. Well, thank you for listening to me again. This is Bite Size Manna. My name is Kenneth Peffer, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part where I talk about the dimension of phileos, which is brotherly love. Thank you. God bless. Bye.